Senator Ted Cruz, he joins us from Houston, Texas. Devastating impacts, no doubt, expected there in your state, Senator. So what are you guys doing to ensure that the state receives the aid that it needs?
Well, Alex, it's good to be with you. I'm here at the Harris County Emergency Operations Center and spent the entire day coordinating with federal officials, state officials, and county and local officials throughout the state. And at this point, we're preparing for landfall. This is expected to be a very serious hurricane with a serious risk of loss of life. And so what I would encourage to Texans watching this, if you're in an area, if you're in a county where an evacuation order has been issued, treat that evacuation order seriously. This storm is dangerous. If you're in an area, Corpus Christi into the South Texas, the wind, the rain is expected to be really terrible. And if you can evacuate, I would encourage you to do so. If you're in an area like the Houston area where I am, we're not under an evacuation order right now, but there are projections of very significant rainfall, significant flooding. What I would encourage you to do is find a safe place and stay there. Don't be out on the roads. Don't drive. And in particular, I want to remind people, do not drive into water. Every time we see a hurricane flooding, the most frequent cause of people in their automobiles who think they can make it through the water and the swift-moving water carries them and their family away. Don't risk it. Don't drive into water.
Absolutely, no doubt. Great advice there. Now, the Weather Service is reporting that some places may be uninhabitable for weeks or months. Really a similar statement that they made for Katrina. So what is the plan to be able to give people the funding and housing that they need to recover? Because this could be a very long-lasting thing.
Well, at the county levels, they're preparing right now. Those counties that are under evacuation orders are working to help evacuate people. The first responders are getting ready. They're going to be right at the first level, whether it's the police officers or the sheriffs or the firefighters or the paramedics or the National Guardsmen, all of whom will be on the ground helping people in need. And then at the state level, I spoke earlier today with Governor Greg Abbott. The state is preparing and is already marshaling its resources to help those in need, whether it's with search and rescue or disaster recovery. I spoke a few hours ago with President Trump. The president gave me his personal assurance that the federal government, that FEMA and the entire machinery of the federal government would act swiftly, marshaling assets down here to Texas. And so my office is working very, very closely with the federal government, the White House, the state officials, the county officials, and local officials. And what we're seeing right now is a coordinated effort to prepare. And then when we see landfall and we see the consequences, we're all going to be working together to help those in need and then to repair whatever damage we see that comes from this storm.
Certainly great to hear that all levels of the government there, from the local, city, county areas all the way up to the federal government, trying to work together. Now, there is a lot of concern about oil prices nationwide potentially taking a hit based on damage from Hurricane Harvey. Oil industry there in Texas.
Well, I'll tell you, the refinery assets and the oil assets on the coast are hardened. I mean, we are in a hurricane area where this occurs, and so we're hopeful that those major economic assets will not be significantly threatened, but we're going to have to deal with what comes and see what the responses are. You know, I will say, every natural disaster like a hurricane, I am incredibly encouraged to see Texans coming together. It's a phenomenal thing. I've unfortunately been on the ground in more than a few natural disasters that we faced in Texas in recent years. And every time Texans come together, we help our neighbors, we volunteer. People from surrounding counties just jump in their trucks and come over and pitch in. And I'll tell you, I spoke today to the head of the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross, every disaster we have, they have men and women on the ground that are providing water, that are providing medicine, that are providing shelter. And for people across the country, if you're not in this storm's wake and you want to help out, what I would ask for is number one, your prayers. We need your prayers. But number two, go to the Red Cross website, sign up to volunteer, sign up to help out, because we all need to come together in the wake of a disaster like what Harvey appears likely to be.